Good evening, Wrocław. Welcome to Evolution's Meetup and Showcase.
Woo, woo,
Thank you very much. Natalia Świrska.
And Paulina Muszyńska.
I got more, sorry. Thank you very much. Welcome to Wrocław, everybody that is from the entire country. Thank you for coming. Thank you for visiting us. We are very proud that we are such a growing and real tech hub of the country, of Poland. So we have many brave founders and a fresh perspective. And you've been here for 3 days, most probably, attending many side events that we've organized for you. And you know that we don't do the things in a simple way. Today it's going to be a bit different, a little bit with a sport vibe and boxing gala. It's going to be amazing. So, thank you for being with us, Natalia.
Yes, some words about OVH Cloud, but very shortly, don't worry. At OVH Cloud, we believe every startup deserves the tools and support to grow and to stay strong. That's why we created OVH Cloud Startup Program, and it's celebrating 10 years anniversary. We've supported over 5,000 startups, but we're just getting started. If you're building something bold, we invite you to join the program, and you can find out more information in the report that you can download at the end of the video. So let's build something together with an open and trusted cloud.
And happy birthday, Natalia and the team.
Oh, thank you.
Applause, applause, yeah. So now we will have to watch some video from OVH for the 10th birthday. Przemysław. Waiting for the cake. Where is the cake for Natalia? Happy birthday one more time.
Will be the evening and a networking party, after party.
Yes, you have to be here until midnight to get the cake. So I would like to say thank you because we have so many partners that wanted to participate this year, and nothing is happening without great partnership, cooperation, community. So first, kudos to all of you for building the beautiful community, the ecosystem in Wrocław that we have. So round of applause for you. More, please more.
You can better, you can better.
And the partners that are here with us, supporting always strategic partners, BNP Paribas. Where are you, people? Bravo.
They are here, here.
SDZ Legal Schindhelm always with us there, and yes. The WP Square Investments. JWW Accounting Office. Thank you very much. Supporting partners, Coventry University Wrocław that you visited yesterday at our workshops, Axel Point, 8 of Space, Browar Stu Mostów, always with us, Nowe Horyzonty, PIK, Ranówkę, Wrocław, PL, Kiszone, Specjałe, Pizza Pany, Raj, Bar. Brawo! Woo! And many, many content partners, European Space Agency, Low Startup Founders, Warsaw Equity Group, Tech Heroes, European Women in VC, Product Trio, Use Me. Yeah, this is the time for you guys. Media partner, media patron, my company Polska. As you've probably seen, there is a studio built in a lobby. So if there is anybody interested in giving some interview to Grzegorz or Kuba, you can leave for 15 minutes, talk with them and tell them about what you do, about the ecosystem, about anything you want, actually. We'll just have to control later if we can publish it, but no problem, we'll take care of it. Thank you very much.
And right now, it's time to kick things off with someone who truly knows what it means to own the stage.
Waldemar Kasta, Waldemar Kasta, Waldemar Kasta, tak robi rap. Ejo, to jest ta 13, to jest ta 13. Rap spod szyldu Kasta, skład prawy. Waldemar Kasta, Waldemar Kasta, robi rap.
Ladies and gentlemen, some of you might know me from the music world. some from MMA events. But tonight, I'm here for something just as exciting. The world of startups. I know what it means to fight for your ideas, to hear no more than yes, and to keep going anyway. That's why I'm hyped to be with all of you, people who are building, risking, and chasing something bigger. So let's make this night count. Let's talk real stories, big wins, and tough lessons, and maybe even have some fun along the way. I want to ask just, are you ready? Once again, are you ready? So let's go. All right. First panel. Speaking of chasing something bigger, it's time to jump straight into our first panel. And it's one that's close to my heart. Because, let's be honest, being a founder and being a pro athlete, not that different. You train like a crazy, you fight through pain, you build routines, and you keep your eyes on the win, even when no one else sees it yet. All right, welcome. This panel, it's startup is a sport. Train hard, play smart, win big. Moderating the conversation from European woman in VC. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Alicja Stelmach. And joining her on stage, founder of iDocly, Hubert Zieliński. CEO of Momentum. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Piotr Sędzik. And now, co-founder and CEO of iYoni, Katarzyna Goch. Ladies and gentlemen, now let's hear it for founder of Reclimb, Marcin Pery. Ladies and gentlemen, these folks know what it means to perform under pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is yours.
All right, so hello everyone. I'm really excited to be moderating this panel today. Thank you so much for this super intro. I don't know if I can beat that. And today we're going to talk about how sports, especially extreme sports, influence and shape who we are as a founders, as a leaders, and as a decision makers. And we have really amazing lineup today. Those are the people, those are crazy people who I thought before, you know, like there is some limit for adrenaline per person, and this people just cross the limit. And before we dive into the discussion, I would like to kick off things with a small question to you. So please please raise your hand if you ever tried, if you're ever involved in some kind of like sports, if you do sports. Okay, great. And now keep your hands up if you ever had this moment when you know, like the training has started and you had this thought in your mind which says like, why am I doing this to myself? So, okay, so those who put their hands down later, I want to talk with you. I want to know your secrets. But now I wanted to say, because this is the moment, you know, like building a startup, this sounds really exciting and thrilling, and it is, right? But when this excitement's far away and the real work begins, the hard work, you need to make many tough decisions, you need to perform under the pressure, and you need to carry all that responsibility. This is where the true mindset shows up, right? And we are going to explore also how sport can prepare us for these exact moments when it's hard, when it's tough. So I'm going to start with the first question, which is, I would say, fundamental one. So how sport influenced the way you build your company and shape its culture? And I wanted to start with Marcin, actually, because his company is basically based on a discipline he is very much fan of. So Marcin, how do you connect those two words?
Yes. How many people, I'm asking you, did ever try climbing? Okay. It's a niche. It's not a very popular sport. It's massive, but of course, because of our champion Alexandra Mirosław, it's even more popular every year. So I understand that even so many people started to climb. I started climb 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, and what I discovered, I was shocked by this. Discovering that climbing is not about going reaching the end. Climbing is not going to reaching the final, and it is about just going. And if you think that climbing is going to the top of the mountain, for example, you are wrong. Sometimes climber climbs just 10 meters below the top and just go down without reaching the end. And this is something very important because you have to find motivation to do this. Because it's a lot of people, and I thought the same, that it's a very stupid thing. Just going 30 meters up to just go down after 5 minutes. And trying the same 10 minutes later. So I think that if I can compare climbing to making business, it's very similar because in making business you ask this question a lot of times, and it's very hard to find motivation and fun from just starting every day the same routine and have fun from that. So if everybody is thinking about establish new company, new startup, I have one message to you. You have to every day to ask yourself, do you like it? Do I like this, what I'm doing? And if I'm ready to spend months, maybe years, not reaching the end.
Wow, that was super inspiring. You can all ask yourself that question definitely before starting a company. And now I would like to ask Piotr, because you mentioned you are a runner, right? And anyone who's ever tried running this discipline before, it shows, you know, how much mental strength and discipline is required. So I wanted to ask, how does it shape the way you build your business?
Thanks for this question. Hello, everyone. I need to say that what Marcin's just said deeply resonates with my approach, and I actually have two thoughts how sport impacts the way how I'm running my business, how it creates the company culture. So I think there is this statement that a talent without attitude equals failure, and that's also the some kind of comparison that it's very similar in sport, because even if we do some recruitment process in the company, we rather focus to hire people who are highly motivated. They can take responsibility from A to Z. They actually, sorry for saying that, but give a shit about what they are doing, rather than people who are super talented but are not willing to put this day-to-day work every day, remembering that yesterday performance is nothing today. And it's this type of thinking, I think it's some kind of resonates what Marcin mentioned, deeply also resonates with my company culture. And the second thought of how sport also interacts with this, let's say, the way how I run my business. It's also understand, because maybe I think most of you are familiar with this Netflix statement that company shouldn't be a family, it should rather be a team sport, sports team. And in general, I agree with that, but that also, I would like to also tackle this from different angle and understand what you as a leader and your leadership team should be in this setup and this equation. And in my opinion, it's interesting to start thinking about your company and the leadership team in your company as a coaching staff. So of course there is a head coach who is the main leader of the team. But besides him, there are of course people in the coaching staff like therapists, analysts, people who are responsible for offensive tactics, defensive tactics, and so on. But what's really important, they need to understand that their main goal is to make sure that the team on the pitch that's playing currently will be in the best shape. They will understand the tactics, and everyone will know where to move, because only then the outcomes will be really the chance for the success is just bigger. So I think I would agree with Marcin again, because it deeply resonates with me that the fact that you need to show up every day, put a lot of work into what you are doing. Sometimes it won't be easy. It will be, sometimes it might be hard. It will be boring. There are different states of depression behind that. But on the other hand, it's super satisfying at the end if you actually achieve something remarkable.
All right, so we can see the emphasis on the team, on the culture building around that. And Kasia, the question for you: how has sport influenced your leadership style and the way you build your business?
Hi, thank you for having me. A great question as a leader. I was thinking a lot about this comparison between sports and running not only a business, but especially a startup. And for me, the most important, maybe the most suitable analogy is sailing. I did a lot of sailing when I was younger, and I think it's all about great team working together, all hands on board, but also taking some risks and also prepared for sudden changes of circumstances. Like we are comparing running a company to any kind of sports, but this changes even in terms of rules or everything may change. You need to be prepared to pivot, to use any resources that you have, to move forward in a smart way. And I agree with you that it's also about keeping moving, not only achieving a summit or goal. Of course, goal orientation is important as well. So as a leader, I think you need to motivate your team. You need to select people ready to be active or proactive, ready to change the tactics, considering any circumstances, and smart enough to use limited resources to achieve their goals.
Okay, right. This was really important point, that you need to keep moving. You need to show up every single day, right? And Hubert, you live at the intersection of extreme sports and tech. So would you like to comment on that? How you build your startup?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I will wrap it up because yeah, everything my colleague says, I totally resonate with that. But to sum it up, I would say like discipline. So you show up every day, you work hard, even if you don't want to. Then courage to take risks, takes action, makes mistakes. Then taking responsibility, because every decision that you make, or your teammates or anyone in your startup, makes takes they have to know that their job is really important. So it's not like just one little task that you have to do. It's more like if you don't, if like your job is so important that and you're responsible for this job, and then they will be more, you know, productive, because it's not like the other boring job that I have to do task. It's more like I'm responsible for something and we're building something bigger. So yeah, and the last part is teamwork. So yeah, like talking with everybody, being the leader, being a good leader that talks with each of the team, because sometimes you have, like, you know, sides. There's team IT and there's design, there's marketing, there's sales, but you have to be like the one person who keeps it up together, and you have to teach them how to communicate with each other, to talk with each other, to, you know, be one big family or sports team that, you know, can drive your startup to the moon.
Okay, great. Again, team building, we can see that. And you mentioned one thing, you mentioned the risk, and I wanted to touch on that, because in extreme sports, the margin for error is very tiny, it's very small. So you also mentioned, Hubert, in our previous conversation that you're doing the extreme skiing, right? So in that sport, you either land or crash. And you mentioned it's the same with business. Could you also elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. So I also wanted to ask you if somebody here ever tried skydiving. Okay, two person. Okay, so or freestyle skiing. Okay, so yeah, when you imagine if you're going on the skis like 80 kilometers per hour, and there's like the jump high like this, you know, this screen, and you have no choice, right? You are going, and everything has to go like the right way, and if you make any mistake, you crash. I don't know, you can get injured, you can die, or anything. Like, really, that's maybe too brutal, but yeah. Either way, when you like practice, you do this every day, and you focus on what you're doing in this moment, then you are prepared for what's coming, right? So yeah, like this, what I take from extreme sports is like you are prepared for extreme risk to take, because every jump is a big decision. You either get injured, or you land and you have a success. So I have, like, in many sports I did, I think most of them, I guess, like the extreme sports, because I couldn't find my own way. The freestyle skiing is like something I did the most of the time, but still, I was always looking for adrenaline, and I found it in business, in like building startup, because you have so much adrenaline that, like, every day, every hour, that you get from one jump from you know, skydiving for like for a minute or two. So yeah, like it told me. I mean, I learned from that. Taking risk, it's something that you have to do every day, and yeah, I think maybe that's
it. You need to take risk. You want to succeed either way, right? Other way. So Kasia, you mentioned you tried, you know, like the sport with the parakeet, right? Am I saying this correctly? And how is it when you are losing the ground? Like how you can transfer to the business?
Yeah, right now I prefer less risky sports, I think. But there was an episode in my life when I tried paragliding. Yeah, this is a funny story. I was so proud of myself. We tried on different levels, and because the equipment wasn't fully suitable to my weight, I think it worked differently. So the last day we decided there was an exam, we decided to go a little bit higher, and from 50 meters that were allowed for this license we were applying, I suddenly found myself around at the height of 100 meters maybe. And I almost crashed. Like there was a problem with this, I don't know the word with the paraglide. The last word I've heard in the radio that was discharged suddenly was OF. Okay. But this was the moment that I knew that I can count only on myself, that I need to stop panic, that I need to control my fear. That was enormous. And that I need to act. And I think that fear management, this is quite important skill when you are running a startup, and nobody teaches us how to manage our fear. And from sports, you may obviously, if you try extreme sports, as I said, with fears, I just, prefer maybe running or yoga. But you may learn. But yeah, this is something that I think is very important. You need to accept that you have doubts, that you feel this fear, and sometimes even panic. And you need to stop, and you need to think. Even if you are prepared, you don't know what will happen. You may crash. You need to accept it and just use your skills, your resources, everything that you can to avoid, right?
Yeah. And have you also experienced this all or nothing moment in your startup journey? Maybe this could be a question to Marcin.
Yes, but I have another question to the author. Who knows the movie Free Solo with Alex Honnold? Okay, I recommend this movie to everybody. This is a Hollywood movie about free solo climber Alex Honnold, who climbs without any security, like 900 meters above the ground. And his every move is risking his not injury, just life, and it is not a question. But why he does it, such things? Because he is ill. His brain is damaged in some way. The brain responsible for feeling fear is damaged. So he doesn't fear anything. But everybody fears something. So it's normal, and you cannot do anything not to fear. And in climbing, it's obvious that you can only manage this fear, as you said. So this is one thing. Second thing I wanted to say about emotions, because emotions are not overestimated, sometimes underestimated. You have to love what you do. You have to love this taking risk to do it. You cannot take risk without loving what you do. So if you don't love your company, your startup, your idea about startup, because I agree that you definitely you have to be open to pivot and to change something dramatically what you do. But you have to love at the moment what you when you do it. You have to love it. Then taking risk is simple because it is the part of the game. So this is my not direct answer, but this is what I wanted to say.
Okay, I think we can accept that the passion is really important when building a startup. And Piotr, would you like to also comment on that? Is passion enough? What do you think?
So from my from my perspective, I wouldn't say I'm running a business because I lack some shots of adrenaline or I love taking risks. So I will slightly disagree here. I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm put a lot of dedication into it. And this comparison into sport and business, I think it's actual here and real. The most satisfying thing about both in business and running is this feeling when you start noticing first outcomes of what you're doing. So this feeling that you show up every day, you have this, when you're doing it, you might have this feeling that it's not going well. But if you look from the perspective and some time flies and time flies fast, as we know, and you start noticing first improvements and noticing that you are going into the right direction, this feeling of, wow, I did it, is the best possible feeling ever. And it's both true for business, at least in my perspective, true in business and in sport. Because in sport as well, showing up on the training sessions, I'm an amateur ultra runner, showing up on the training sessions, putting hard work into them. Either it's a long run, either it's a interval session, whatever. Day after, you don't feel that you're making progress. But if you compare, if you look at your progress from perspective, at least, let's say, I don't know, month, 2 or 3 months, and start noticing the progress, you feel this feeling of this kind of emotion that you want more and more and more. And in that sense, it might be even bit addictive. But that's, I think, hopefully you will also agree with that. That's why we are doing that.
Yeah, and I have a follow-up question on that. My question is, has your view on risk changed over the time in your career, or is it the same?
As mentioned, I slightly disagree with Marcin that I love taking risk, and I think it's not. I think it's not easy to take risk when you are so dedicated into your idea, into your startup, into your company. Sometimes it's really brutal, I would say. But of course, on maybe different thought. In business and in sports, it's important to take risks, but it's what sport taught me and how I implicated that in business is the way how you can almost instantly from the next day start implementing changes and how fast you adapt to new environment. So I did part in a few races in my career. Part of them I did not finish, and that's the biggest shame for a runner. But instead of being emotionally devastated, of course I felt angry and I didn't avoid these emotions, but instantly I was trying to figure out what to do next. And I think maybe it's not a direct answer to your questions because, as mentioned, risk is important. You need to make wrong decision is better than no decision. That's of course. But on the other hand, the thought I want to underline is this ability to adapt to a new environment and having this type of thinking that even if there is a failure, you can easily adapt, maybe not easily, but you can instantly adapt and start figuring out the new actions that you will implement. So even if I did not finish the run, after the run I start thinking, okay, maybe I need to change something in my training log. Maybe I need to focus on recovery. Maybe I need to improve my nutrition, whatever. But this constant and instant feeling that, okay, focus on actions rather than keep moaning that something went wrong.
Yeah, learning from the failure. This is the important part that we're gonna discuss in a second. But I see that Marcin really wants to comment on that.
You slightly disagreed with me, but I agree with you. So there are some
I can take that.
There are sports without risk, like running, of course, and this is different sport than climbing. And in climbing, there is one thing because there is not taking risk all the time. It's just there's technical sport. You have to choose the right path on your road, and there is. This is most important situation that there is one crux on this road. One crux, maybe two crux. The hardest move you have to do, and this move is very risky. This one move on the road. So you have 30 meters or 40 meters road. Road is hard, let's say, but not so risky. And there is one crux and you you cannot hesitate to do this move. And this is something you have to change in your mind, because your body tells you don't do it. Your body tells you don't do it, and you have to fight with that and jump or just move this and do this risky move. So this is about taking a risk in climbing. It's not about always taking a risk.
So I think it's also more like not saying put my all funds into crypto. It's not that taking risk, right? So it's more like you are handling risk, how you handle risk, right? So you are prepared for what's coming, or you did it so many times that you know what's gonna happen. And when it comes to, because without risk, you don't involve, right? You don't go further. Sometimes you have to take a bigger step to go where you want to go. But it's more like how you handle taking decision on certain risks. So you think about it, you think about it faster, you know what's gonna happen, you have to talk with certain people or anything, but it's more like not taking stupid, not like decisions that you didn't think about. It's more like just handling tough decisions that will take you to the next level.
So yeah, I think it's important to understand your limits, right? And then know when we can push and keep going forward. So I wanted to go back to what Piotr mentioned. So building resilience when things go wrong. And I wanted to get answer from you, from all of you, like what failures teaches us. And as we all know, failure in both in sports and in business can feel personal, can feel public, but it's an inevitable thing that we all gonna experience, either we like it or not. So I wanted to ask, like, what has sports taught you about emotional detachment and staying mentally strong when things go wrong? And maybe Kasia, I would like to start with this
one. I think it's quite obvious, like you cannot improve your skills if you don't experience failures. So the same is when running a startup. But I think that it's also a part of natural selection. Like if you aren't able to accept no's and mistakes, if you are unable to accept the fact that you are imperfect or that you failed, then probably you will resign from being a founder. I think so. So for me, the same in sports and the same or in different sports activities, or as a person responsible for running company, failure is an opportunity always. So, of course, it's not so easy to deal with your emotions, because if you receive a hard feedback, I think that most of us will have this first feeling, oh well, but why? Sometimes it's independent from your activities, so the failure isn't your fault actually. With time and with the situations, as with trainings and you may observe your own progress in dealing with failures, and also you can draw more conclusions from them and learn your lessons, be better.
Okay, so I would like to go a bit deeper, a bit more personal. So maybe Marcin, what's one failure that made you more resilient, and how did you affect it also in your business?
I will not ask you about Schwarzenegger, because everybody knows Schwarzenegger. Yes, and maybe you didn't know this famous speech. There is no plan B. There is only plan A. And I cannot accept this. I wanted to accept this, but I know that this is the best way to be champion. But I had a lot of failures in my life, and business failures and other failures. And I learned from that failures that you have to have plan B. Sorry, Schwarzenegger. So this is one thing I have learned. So it's about pivoting, of course, in building startups. So you have, of course, concentrate your energy, 90% of energy on plan A, but you have to think what would happen if this bad things would happen. Yes. So I have learned that plan B is something very nice to have.
Okay, remember to always have plan B. I don't have plan B for this panel, but okay. Okay, Hubert, would you like to comment on that? What's one failure that made you more resilient?
Okay, so quick story. So like 10 years ago, on the Christmas day, I went skiing. And on the second jump, I twisted my knee. I broke my ACL. And for any sportsman or freestyle skier, like the torn ACL, it's something like a really big injury. So I was young, and everybody told me, like my doctor told me, you can not ever do any sports, especially extreme sports, no skiing. My family told me that we told you so, you shouldn't be doing that. And, everybody was like cheering me down. Like, they told me that it's bad for my health and for what I'm doing. So I was like laying in my bed, almost crying, like kind of like maybe some kind of little depression for like 20 hours. And I was thinking, I will never be doing the one thing that was making me happy, because I never could find the one thing that I like sport. And I finally found it, and then I got a injury. So I was like, with my mind, like thinking about it over and over. And then something clicked. I was like, there's gotta be a way. Like, there's so many sportsmen in the world that, get in a couple of weeks, get back to the like the best shape they've ever been, or even come back stronger. So I started looking online for, training. I called my physiotherapist. I was exercising like couple times a day just to get back in shape. And in 3 months, I was able, without any surgery, for my ACL, and till now I don't have any problems with this. After 2 months, I went to Italy, and I was jumping on like 25 meters long jumps, and I was doing everything I did before the injury. And the lesson I took from that, and it's every day with me, it's never the end of the world. It's like, even if the worst thing will happen, you will survive this, you will overcome it, you will find a way to just get back on track, or find another way, or find another startup, or find another investor, or anything. And it's never the end of the world. And this is what I do like every day. Even if something bad happened, okay, I take it like cold, and I think what I can do to make it better, to repair it, or who can I talk to get the most of it. So oh, sorry, I'm not a big beatboxer. Yeah,
We have Kasta, so now you know. Can beatbox a bit.
Yeah. This story, I would say, was really inspiring, and I hate it at the same time because I want to explain what I hated, because it proves that my coach was right, because he always says to me, like, Alicia, remember, everything is in your head, and I always say, like, no, it's not everything is in my head, but you prove that point, and thank you for sharing this story. And I think we're all waiting for one answer from Piotr. Piotr, do you agree with Marcin or with Schwanzenegger?
I agree. I would comment Marcin last statement regarding the risk that our responsibility as founders, as leader, is do everything we can to mitigate the risk, have plan B. But when you still have some, let's say, puzzles in the equation, you still need to make a decision, because making decision is always better than not making a decision, even if the decision is wrong. My learning from my experience that if you invest 100% of you and your capabilities into something and it didn't work out, in the end it will work out. And that means, maybe I can give you my story. There are some people who might remember who I worked with on this startup idea today, like Łukasz, who was advisor in the acceleration program called Starter Rocket. I started my first company, which was complete failure, named Footsteps. That was the app for the city route personalization. And I put 100% of myself into that idea. It was crazy idea. I spent like 3 years building that. It didn't work out, but due to the fact that I invested so much time into it, I meet a lot of great people. I met my current founders. I start being recognized as someone who knows something about technology and startups. So people started approaching me and saying, okay, maybe you can help us with building our software, and that's how Momentum started. So if you, as mentioned, if you give 100% into something and you think it doesn't work at this specific time, keep going, and it will turn into something really great. Maybe not in the, let's say, vision that you had from the day one, but definitely it will bring you closer to the success.
Okay, thank you so much for this comment. I can see that we are running out of time, but I just wanted to do like a really brief round, if you're okay with that. 1 second. Okay, so you have many founders and aspiring founders on the audience, and you have 30 seconds time for a pep talk. What would you say? Go, Hubert, first.
So many thoughts. The last sentence I said, like, it's not the end of the world. Go try, talk with people, talk with other founders, talk with investors, try, build a product, talk with customers, and yeah.
Okay, thank you. Think fast. Piotr, now your turn.
Show up every day, put 100%, and that mentioned before, it will work out in the end, really.
All right, Kasia, your turn.
Be courage. Find good people to work with. Do not afraid to fail, and accept that it can not work.
All right, Marcin, you had the most time.
Do what you love, and accept your limitations.
Great, thank you so much. So just to sum up, I wanted to just comment, like, we can see that sport teaches us how to show up when things go wrong, right? When things go hard, and how to trust the process, and how to keep going, and how to keep our focus when everything just feels uncertain and unstable, including us, right? And one thing that really stayed with me through that conversation is this idea that there will always be moments where it's hard, right? When you feel unsure and when quitting just seems easier. But if you know why you're doing this, if you are passionate about it, and you keep putting one foot after another every single day, you keep showing up, you will eventually get there. And I would like each of you walk away today with this thought in your mind, with the clarity of purpose and the resilience to keep going while thinking about building a business. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for having us. It's to our amazing panelists for sharing their stories. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that first panel hit hard, in the best way. Real talk, real experience. And now, it's time for the second round. If you've ever felt like you were building your startup from nothing, with no budget, no roadmap, and maybe just a stubborn belief that you will figure it out, then this next session is for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the second one is called From Underdogs to Champions, Rising Up Against the Odds. Because, let's face it, every founder had that scrappy chapter, right? Leading this heavyweight conversation, Business Development Director at BNP Paribas, Bank Polska. Ladies and gentlemen, she is Magdalena Miecielica. Joining her on stage, founder and CEO of hiPets, Dorota Rymaszewska. Now at Bolt, previously InPost, Pack Help, and Get Response. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Łukasz Turczyński. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for co-founder of Prosoma, Emanuela Kufel. And founder and CEO of Animalhotels. He is Łukasz Klab. Ladies and gentlemen, these folks have been through the early chaos, and they came up and they came out stronger. So, ladies and gentlemen, the stage is yours.
Green light, it's working, okay. Hello everyone, and thank you Waldemar for very nice calling my name and my fantastic panelist. This is the thing worth of coming here from Warsaw or any other place from the Poland, I think. Absolutely interesting experience. Today we will talk about our successful startups and successful stories, because behind every story there is a hard story, I would say, or the way which is not easy to be in the moment in which you are at the moment, sorry, I must stress a little bit. And I would like to invite my fantastic panelists to share with us some secrets of the moments that help them to boost the business, or the things that they would never do again. And my first question goes to Dorota. And Dorota, please forgive me, but you will actually get 2 questions.
Okay.
So first question. Okay, if the collecting investors were a national sport, you would be a gold medalist. So can you share first how many investors you have and how do you keep your investors in check?
Let me think. Like around 30, I guess. I stopped counting in one moment at a time. Yeah, like, thank you for that compliment. I like to be a world championship in something, and I'm really bad at sports, so being good in fundraising counts, so that's well. Maybe because I'm a salesperson since ever. Fundraising sounds fun and sounds good for me always. I know every founder says the fundraising is a process that drains your soul, and that's the most common saying about that. But this is something I like about being a founder most. And maybe just because it's a sales process. How do I keep in touch with my investors? I send summaries now, because at the very beginning they wanted to have calls, meetings, talks, coffees, and so on, but it didn't last long because they want some returns, not pay for my time at the coffee.
It's obvious. Thank you, Dorota, for answering this warm-up question. And the serious one is, what was the most underrated moment in your story that later turned out to be crucial for the growth of your company?
I don't know if underrated, because I'm not really good in keeping successes in secret, ever. But I think the most underrated one was getting into the Leap Acceleration Program. They call it YC for Pet Startups. And we didn't announce it, I think, enough, but it brought us to the path of going to the US, because we got access to the corporate knowledge they've been collecting for years. We got access to the network of founders in a pet space around the world, which brought us to changing a business model earlier than later. So I think that's the one.
Thanks. The second question goes to Łukasz from Animal Hotels. Łukasz, I heard that you are racing Dorota. You have impressive number of investors as well. Please share with us and what type of investors they are.
We are really behind Dorota. We have already 17 business angels who totally put 2.5 million zlotys. So I think we have a lot to do to catch up with Dorota. And we focus mostly on private investors. What I notice, what works for me is pitching on the stage, networking, and this is like work I can do almost in every conference. It's a little bit similar to selling something. I just sell the vision of Animal Hotels. I have plenty of meetings. I don't know if Dorota have the same feelings, and it works for me. And it's a bit strategic move because in the future I want to go to VCs, of course, because it's much bigger capital to raise from them. And these business angels usually are able to make intro for you. So this is our first step, business angels, and then we will think about VCs.
And what was the moment in your company that make you, that was crucial for your growth?
Oh, these moments we had plenty, but I think the most crucial was in very, very beginning of our company, and I think it was even crazy that we made this decision. I founded Animal Hotels, maybe quick story. I founded Animal Hotels in 2021, the company, and I can't code. So I outsourced coding to somebody else. And I couldn't say if it's going good or bad because the work was moving forward, so I was happy. And we are almost before the launch of our app, and the war in Ukraine broke out. And I decided to do something good in this situation. So as a volunteer, I was going to some centers, logistics centers, where some supplies were packed. And after one night of this shift, I'm sitting in my office and thinking that, oh my God, it's plenty of people with good energy, but this energy is not channeled well. So we are very close to launch our app, which is aiming to connect people, I mean, pet sitters with pet owners. But if you think it's just connecting people, it's the same. So let's change the name, let's change the graphic, what we have, and let's change the pet sitters into volunteers and pet owners into refugees. And it should be so easy. So let's do it. We have almost everything done. So let's do it. And I remember it was Tuesday. We made this decision. We bought the domain, very good, pomocniludzie.pl. And on Friday we went to lunch because the help was needed very fast. And we worked like every hour for 4 days. We promoted really well. And the Friday came, the day of lunch, even radio came to us, and we pressed the button lunch, and the app didn't work, like zero, nothing, black screen. And we promoted, we even sent QR codes to logistic centers, so people who were looking for help were scanning our code. We could see it, but the app didn't work. And I was thinking, okay, so let's fix it. And we're trying to fix, but hour after hour, and it still doesn't work. It's like 7 p.m. Friday. Everybody's so tired. I look at people's eyes in this office, and I could see that nobody could believe that it's gonna work. And I called my friend from high school. I just reminded that Marcin, I didn't have any contact with him, but he was coding in high school. So my thought was only, he was coding then good, so maybe now it's a really good programmer, really good coder. And I called him and said, Marcin, hey, this is Łukasz from, we are doing this app, Pomocni Ludzie. Yeah, I saw it on Instagram, it's really good work. Yes, Marcin, but it doesn't work and we don't know how to fix it. Maybe you can come to us and do something. And he said, okay, I can call my friend because we have meeting, we're gonna have some beers, but we will take these beers and come to your office, take laptops and we do something. And they fix it at 3 a.m. But why I'm telling this story? This really crazy idea to do something which is non-profit, if you have no money, if you have no resources, as you can see, know-how. But Marcin joined us next Monday, he quit job, and I have really good technical co-founder. And if we didn't do it, probably Animal Hotels wouldn't exist right now. Sorry for this long story.
Thank you, but this is very interesting. I haven't heard about it, and even I couldn't read, so thank you for sharing.
A little bit ashamed that I couldn't launch the app. And I remember the moment I was lying in the bed. After 4 days of working for this app, I have eyes open. I can't sleep because I drank too much coffee. And I'm thinking, it's pointless. What I'm thinking, it doesn't have any sense. I want to build global app. I launched a non-profit app in Poland. Many people, influencers, helped us for free. And we couldn't do it. So I was thinking, what am I thinking? Why I want to start some global business if I couldn't even start a small non-profit platform?
Łukasz, still again, thank you, because all we know that in Poland we have a problem with the culture of failures, of small failures to share, because we prefer to hear about successes. Okay, so the second question goes to Emanuela. Emanuela, you are third in racing Dorota and Łukasz in terms of the number of investors. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I counted about 7.
Yes.
Seriously?
There's some angels that shan't be mentioned.
Absolutely, we think about business angels that they are also investors, so it's okay. So. First question, of course, it's about this underrated moment in the growth of your business. But I would like to have a dive deep because your product touches on men's health and it's a little bit different comparing to hiPets and to animal hotels. So how did you convince your first innovators and investors and clients to invest and to start cooperation with the startup? So
Sure.
maybe
So I'm going to start with
from
the first
second.
question.
Okay.
Oh,
If you
the
prefer.
second. Okay,
If
fine. The second.
let's choose.
It wasn't really that difficult to convince people because we're dealing with mental health for oncology specifically. So Prosoma does mental health and behavioral health support for cancer patients at the point of diagnosis, and I think that everyone understands that cancer is extremely stressful, that people are extremely vulnerable at the point of diagnosis. But I guess it's difficult to find funding sometimes for mental health because it's a nice to have. It's not necessarily in the first line of cost. And also, it's important to note that we were choosing investors as much as investors were choosing us. So to any startup founders that are young at the game, I would say it's always a two-way interview. We've had a pitch with one of the investors that I'm not going to mention, where we started talking about our product, how we want to help people, how we want to change the mental health scene, and that person was like, guys, you're building a plane, and I want you to build a bike. At that stage, really, you can just leave that pitching situation and start looking for a different investor. Because if someone doesn't understand your product, someone doesn't understand and will not support your mission, they're not worth working with. And it's a working relationship as well. So we were very, very lucky because all of our investors are impact investors and they want to make a difference. They want to help people and they see the big picture. But it's not really easy, always to find. And with the little moments, I would say the underrated moment, we've had hundreds of moments because we've been going for quite a while now, since 2017. And Marek would say, my co-founder, whose idea it actually was, Marek would say that we had 1,024 moments because that's how many pitches he had. That's how many meetings with investors he had to close this funding round that we just closed for 5 million euro. So it took 2 years and 1,024 meetings.
That's impressive. Łukasz, I'm very sorry you are the last one in the race. Or please correct me if I'm wrong. So can you share with us some your experience from the past, the moment, because you were working in many scale-ups or fast-growing technological supported companies like InPost, PackHelp, and now it's Bolt Food. I don't know if
correct.
Thank you. So yes, what about you? What about some moment you would never forget and you will remember, dying someday?
All right. So first of all, it's really nice to be with you here. Especially, I'm not the founder. I'm not in the person as my colleagues here that are doing their own businesses. My whole career is, as you mentioned, related to the companies where founders was asking me to grow their business. So I have a privilege to work in organizations that really had a good successes. And I think to bring some knowledge that up today, I can say a story about, I think, most of the favorite Polish company in Poland right now with the parcel local solutions. I don't know what's the average age here. I'm a bit, I would say, not so older, but I've joined InPost where this company weren't built on parcel lockers. Today, you think that the growth is built exactly on that product solution, but InPost grew up on the letter industry, grow up on to-door delivery and courier services. And the history there is that parcel lockers were just a small engine like 10 years ago in their business, something like a startup in the bigger company, a bet, I would say. And when Rafał hit the wall with Polish Post and the letter industries, when he almost bankrupted the company, when he needed to pivot with my and my colleagues' hands the business, we put a bet then on the parcel lockers. And that bet bring the company to the second biggest IPO globally in 2021. In 6 years of time. So if I would like to share a moment that is significant, it won't be a moment, it'll be a 6 years of evolution of a company from the edge of bankruptcy to a really nice company across Europe.
Actually, it shows that if you are consequent and in that you believe in the model of the company, it can end with success. To be honest, from the perspective of the bank, no one believed in this business model. I remember the history of the InPost, so.
It wasn't an easy pitch when we tried to pitch Advent and have their awareness and attendance.
Exactly. So I work in bank. As you notice, I like counting, so I've counted all your investors. So now let's talk about money and about just small a little bit about funding and VCs. Dorota, what was the most difficult part of your fundraising journey? Or when did you? Or okay, maybe the easier part of the easier question. When did you start thinking about having an investor on board? The first one.
Okay, that's the story of the very beginning of hiPets, because I founded hiPets just because I bankrupted. I opened a tattoo studio a month before pandemic, and we got shut down, and I invested all my money, everything I had, and in the middle, like in the same time, I was working with a startup that also ran out of business because of pandemic, and I had totally no money, and I knew hiPets is a thing, and every reasonable person raising 2 kids would get a normal job. But I asked my brother to borrow me some money, and I made some kind of a searching for possibilities of getting investment. I noticed that Smok is one of the investors that is investing in pre-seed companies, and they have an accelerator, so I just signed up for Reactor X. I did not actually check that they have never invested in any of the Reactor X startups, but I didn't know that, so they did, and that was the path from the very beginning. I just had to go farther and farther with investments, and it was a bumpy way. Yes, I have a lot of investors, but I've been through. We're drawing 7 term sheets after the war started. I've been through just walking out from a table day before signing an agreement. I also had a...
Why?
Why? It was Open Innovation Fund. They were into my angels because I collected business angels. Among them, one of the most famous one, the co-founder of Snowflake, and they wanted him to have him among their investors, but they not particularly had the money to invest. So also I had the situation that I visited the headquarters of the fund, that I shredded the investment agreement that was signed by 14 out of 15 people, not to let them into the cap table. Thank God. Also, like, I have a marvelous investors, but I also have some kind of pulling out of the ass good adviceless ones, and some who are pretty decent people. So I think, like, I couldn't point one bump because it's just 5 years of fighting. Yeah. I don't eat onions and potatoes like other founders, but it's not that easy way.
So For me, it sounds that, it's not fundraising, but fighting for money, actually, in some situations.
Well, it's not only fighting for money, it's fighting for money and for growth. Because while you are fighting for money, there is a company to run. And you have to trust that people you have just meet the goals, because I can promise everything. And we had Elizabeth Holmes who was promising everything, and apparently her partner is just raised money for AI blood testing. But we are not lucky enough here in Europe to have some big rounds and just promises. We have to deliver, and we don't want to go to jail for 11 years, don't we? So this is, I think, trust and having people who you can depend on. And I think that's the most challenging part of the game, to have those people who just do their job. And you don't have to just watch them, because they just work and just deliver the product and the growth and the sales and so on.
Thanks. Emanuela, and how about you? How did you get the issue with the investors?
I think that for us in the medical device sort of field, it's really difficult, because you get money for 12 months, and then a sales cycle in a pharma is 12 months also. A clinical trial is 12 months, legislation is 24 months, etc. So we kind of always know that we're already behind once we already raise money. I think in the last cycle, it was really difficult. Sort of the most difficult moment for sure was firing people, because we had a really good staff and we didn't want to let people go until the last moment, but we just had to at one stage. So that was horrible. The moment when I really, really knew that we need to raise money was when I moved back with my parents at the age of 37. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And I think that was a turning point as well for us. But now I'm happy to say we raised 5 mil, so things are definitely looking up for us. But yeah, the timelines are just brutal with VC.
And Łukasz, who was your first angel business investor?
It was a businessman, so I just first was from my network. I was looking for somebody who can know somebody, and I decided to raise money because my savings were done over, and we have calculated how much time do we have, and we as a company we are very transparent, and we have see the date when our company go bankrupt, so everybody, even investors, can see it. And this date was coming closer and closer. My savings were almost done, and business model didn't work as I expected. So I started to go from some networks, and our business angels are just businessmen who run other businesses, and they just wanna invest not in 35 apartment, but maybe now he will buy some, or she will buy some equity in startup.
Okay, thank you. Łukasz from board, I can't ask you about this issue, so I will ask another person. I will ask Magdalena Miecielica, how do bank can support startups in financing? Just one sentence. It's just debt financing, so if you don't want to lose shares, you are looking for working capital financing. If you don't know what working capital financing is, please ask me or Mariusz Kaziów, who is with us. So we are ready for financing, maybe not startups without revenues, but for scale-ups. So this is something unique. So thank you for... Dorota told me that it's absolutely excellent that I can talk to myself.
I love that. I love the moderator asking themselves questions. The first time I see, and I'm going to steal that.
I'm trying. I will send you an invoice. Okay, so we talked about investors, about way of getting them. So let's talk a little bit about scaling and markets. So this is the question, Łukasz, I can ask you. What advice would you give to companies planning international expansion?
We don't have time for that.
I will check. I will check.
You're hitting the ground.
We have 7 minutes.
Of what I'm doing on a daily basis. But It's very difficult to summarize that in a short sentence. First of all, if I would be challenged in that, I would say before you scale up and before you go on the other markets, make sure you have healthy processes. If you have shitty processes, they scale up with really, really worse results you can imagine. So double, triple check where you are currently with your basics, with your fundamentals, because really mess in, mess out. And I've seen so many companies which I'm consulting that they really didn't work that out, like really. So first of all, step back and really make sure you know you're in healthy fundamentals. Second point would be about how to approach that expansion. And I would say in these days where the data is everywhere and you can reach it really easily, make that proper analysis. But please don't hesitate to reach out to the people on the market who are from the market, and reach out to your network, to other companies, other industries that already make that move and recognize the market you're trying to hit in, because each market really is different and behaviors are different and buyer personas can act differently, and you will need to twist a bit your product or your processes to gain a proper pace and awareness. And maybe last not least, really do not over accept or overthink how good you are in your current market, because that new market could be very, very different.
Łukasz, I'm going to check it right now because all our startups are international with the international presence. Dorota, please comment what Łukasz said.
I would have a different opinion on processes because when we launched the UK, I hired my old friend, like very successful manager and the previous country manager for the UK, and the absolutely amazing person who turned out to be overqualified so much that stepping back was too hard, and the processes he created for us, I think both is not good enough for them. You need to grow them. So I think it depends on the stage of a company, of course, because like for you guys, opening a new country is something totally different than for startup that is testing new market. And I think I can have more example of what went wrong than what went right, because there are a lot of factors. For me, like first one is good timing for market, but also good timing for a company. Like we launched a new country where it was amazing moment for market, but it was absolutely worst moment for the company, because we had like 3 processes at the same time. Like we launched the country, we've been finishing acquiring a company, like we was about to acquire it 3 months prior. And the third thing, we've been finishing funding round, like the worst case scenario, like the worst thing you can do, defocus. I think like my favorite kind of opening a country is first try to sell something you don't have. Like prior to launching the US, I walked to cities, like knocking doors, trying to sell face to face not ready product. I spent hours sitting with people who were to use my system. Then I was faking to have a company and try to sell it online. And then I started to search for a country manager who is hungry, who haven't succeeded yet, who have been there and done that, but he's still eager to get something out of it. And it's like more to the ground. So yeah, like we learned our lessons. And processes is something I love now.
Emanuela?
I think with going to new markets, you definitely need someone on the ground. For us, you need a co-founder on the ground. That makes it much easier. We have AJ in the US, we have the German team for our DACH market, so that really helps. But because it's a medical device, you know, it's about the patients. So it's easy to get lost in processes. It's easy to get lost in trying to find key opinion leaders or doctors as well. But at the end of the day, it's for patients. So I think that the greatest thing that we've done coming in early was just to talk to patients, show the product to as many patients as we could in clinical trials and in real-world validation, and just getting that feedback. Our application is unique because we localize it by patient stories. So every module, there's 22 modules in this program, is introduced by a real patient story. And because of the fact that we've interviewed hundreds of patients in each country, we're able to really hone in on what's culturally appropriate, etc. So that's been a great learning journey for us, and also we've met so many wonderful people that at the end of the day we're doing it for.
Thank you. Łukasz?
I don't feel like I'm in the position to give an advice how to scale business in other countries. We started, but I can share with you our strategy, and if you ask me next year, when I will have answer,
Okay,
maybe some
copy
lesson
that.
is waiting for me to take it. We started in Poland, and a few weeks ago we launched our app in over 150 countries. So it sounds crazy. I told you how much we rise, and if you look at some apps which succeed, it's crazy, right? But what is in our mind? We know what people are saying, that we have to market by market, but we thought, okay, we don't care, we try it this way. We wanna test where users will register without any our effort. We don't want to assume anything. We see first users in some countries, then we will test some minimum marketing budget in countries which looks okay for us. We calculate the customer acquisition cost, and then with this data, but with no our assumption, just with this data, we go to investors and we say, okay, Nigeria is great. Let's go Nigeria. We need like plenty of millions of dollars to invest in Nigeria because we have this math done. But this is only my theory. Next year, if you ask me this question, maybe it will be some funny story about this. I don't know.
Paulina, please note, we have next panelist for next year.
Do you know they have flying cockroaches in Nigeria? They do. They land on your face.
Yeah, guys.
So, I had there.
It's just really cheap. If you count it, it's really cheap to make app available everywhere. And we have some motor of growth which we are looking in Poland. We have some expertise that we did marketing in only 6 big cities in Poland, but it worked really well in even smaller cities. So we said, okay, so if we market only Poznań, Warsaw, Katowice, and now we have 70,000 pet sitters even in Piotrków Trybunalski or Siedlce, so maybe the same will happen in some, maybe not in Nigeria, but maybe in Nigeria, I don't know, but in Serbia or other countries. So we just don't care, we're gonna try it, and maybe it will be some funny story, as I said.
Thank you. And Dorota, don't worry about asking Łukasz or telling something strange. This is the strange as I ask myself and about the banking financing for scale-up. So we are in the same league. Okay, guys, the last question, the closing one. You have choice because the questions are 2. What decision do you regret the most? So you can choose the question and answer. And what one piece of advice would you give your past self at the beginning of your journey with the startups or with the corporations? Okay, Łukasz.
Okay, I'll take the second one because the first is quite easy. I don't regret anything. Like I don't have that point.
Fantastic.
Or you win or you learn. So yeah. But the second one that I think something would also resonate with me from the last panel is really do your shit done. Like go every day, do your job, plan strategically, but focus on daily business. And usually I really like to say work on small steps. I think in Rocky IV there was a sentence, one step eat in a day, one punch in a day, one fight in a day. And that's the advice I would like to hear those like 20 years ago. I think I followed that path a bit, but yeah, I think that's the fundamental advice I would take.
Thank you. One of my favorite movies. Okay, Dorota.
If I get the first question, it would be very sad and upsetting history of acquiring pet media that we already get rid of. But I'd rather get another one. My one advice to myself in 2020 would be raise the fucking Series A in 2021.
Emanuela?
I can relate to that, for sure. Yeah, no, I also don't want to talk about regrets because I feel like even though there have been many, they've made me the person that I am today, and that counts for something. And the advice that I would give myself, there's one business advice and one personal advice I'd give myself. The business advice would be fail forward and just be prepared that 9 out of the 10 things that you guys are going to try is not going to work. It just isn't. But you only need that one, and that's also okay. And on a personal level, as a founder that has burnt out in the past, I would say your well-being and your mental health is your responsibility. So make sure to put up boundaries to protect it if you can.
Thanks. And Łukasz?
I have some maybe regrets. I would do it totally different now. I would say to myself or to everybody who want to raise money now, maybe for many of you it's obvious, for me it wasn't. Don't raise money if you want to raise in equity going to notary. I did it, I don't know if you know how it works in spółka ZOO in Poland. I thought that I had to go to notary, pay for it, then wait when the registration is made. Now I do just convertible notes, and it's so easy. And the first phase when I was raising going to notary made me so many. I had so many problems. Even the one was the investor went to me to notary. We release shares, he accepts shares, and he didn't pay. So I call him and I say, Szymon, you didn't pay. Yeah, Łukasz, because I have small problem. I run this business, I also building some houses, apartments. Yeah, Szymon, but you have to pay because otherwise we can't even, we can't rise in another round, right? Yeah, but I don't have money, right? So I said, okay, we must meet. We met, and I'm speaking. Okay, I can help you, but tell me what should we do? Because if you don't give me this money, we will just go bankrupt. Because I didn't even thought about convertible notes then. And he said, okay, I have this land. I wanted to build something on this land, but if you help me to sell it, I will put the money in your company. And I switched into real estate agent for a few weeks, calling even our investors. Maybe you want to buy this great land here in Lodz. You can build something. There's everything. And in the end, I didn't find investor who would buy it, but I found investor who borrowed almost 1 million zlotys against this land. So yeah, this was the trap I made. So if you want to raise money, just go to good lawyer. There are good solution, and you can do it very easily. Just sending through DocuSign documents, and you have money on your account.
Even ChatGPT wouldn't tell us this story, Łukasz.
The land is sold, so I mean it's over. So.
So guys, thank you very much for very inspiring talk. I hope our audience will take some ideas close to the heart when go home. So thank you once again. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've heard from the heavyweights. Now it's time for something a little more hands-on. Coming up is one of the most intense parts of tonight, the Startup Showcase Contest. 6 young, hungry startups on stage and zero fear. We're doing it combat style, face to face, pitch to pitch, Founders throw in sharp ideas instead of punches. No knockouts here, but trust me, the competition is real. Each team gets the mic, the crowd gets the energy, and the judges, well, they'll decide who walks away with bragging rights, and maybe a little more. Ladies and gentlemen, what's at stake? Big rewards for the top 3 startups. First place, 25,000 PLN, 100,000 euro in OVH cloud credits, 1 ticket to Web Summit in Lisbon, and 1 ticket to Founders Night. Second place, 10,000 PLN, 50,000 euro in OVH cloud credits, and 2 tickets to How to Web in Romania. Third place, 5,000 PLN, 30,000 OVH credits, and 2 tickets to Startup Day in Estonia. Finally, it's time to start the fight. So grab your focus. It's pitch time. And this is a pitching contest like no other. First, we will have 3 rounds with battles 1-1. Each startup has 3 minutes to pitch and then 1 minute to answer jury's questions. The winners from these 3 battles will advance to the round number 2. There they will have 2 minutes to present last arguments and defend the punches from the jury. No more talk. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Yes. This is Startup Showcase Contest. Let me introduce to a stage the heroes and the jury, of course. Principal at Underline Ventures. Ladies and gentlemen, she is Milana Sloptocova. I don't see. All right. Too much sun, right? Then Senior Investment Analyst at Horizon Labs, Jan Leda. Another member of our jury, Innovation Expert at BNP Paribas, Mateusz Cebula. CEO of JWW Accounting Office, Aleksander Widawski. And partner at S20, Tomek Chapliński. All right. I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the round number 1. In the red corner, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Barking Good. Too much sun again? I don't think so. While we're waiting, ladies and gentlemen, in the blue corner, all Sentry. Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm not fighting. And I'm not fighting you for sure. Right, you ready? So let's begin the match. Barking Good. You have 3 minutes. Time.
Everything we are about starts with this look. It's a look of trust that our dogs give us. They trust us with their entire world. Our company was founded on one simple question: how can we be worthy of that trust? For us, this mission began a long time ago. This is us when we were very young. This represents our last, sorry, we grew up and dogs developed our shapes, life, and also meant for our future. We also have sometimes to get a few engineering degrees at that time. We grew up and developed skills in veterinary medicine and also in technology. We have several years of experience in technology, in big firms, and also in the academia. But let's go straight to the problem. Dogs can't tell us when something is wrong. By nature, they hide it. It's very hard for the dog owners to assess when is the right time to go to the vet. Pet owners annually spend 494 euros on emergency care. Our caller shifts this reactive worry into proactive wellness. It's a simple way to connect to the dog's health data and also to get the most insightful and personalized information about your dog. How it works? From the user perspective, it's pretty simple. You just need to put a collar on a dog, and then it will send the data to the cloud when it's going to be analyzed, and then send straight to the app with the pet UI-friendly dashboard. Our market focus on Gen Z and millennials. They are the majority of this group, standing for 65%. It opened up a market of over $1 million in a few years. Also, Poland, as our early adopter, has the highest percentage of dog ownership in the whole Europe. We position ourselves as the forefront of the proactive wellness. We focus on longevity and daily care. We can imagine us as a Whoop for the dogs. Our business model focuses on the weekly payments. We don't allow customers and don't force them to pay any upfront costs for hardware. We lease it, and then our solution is made up to be refurbished. So they, for example, if they don't want to use it anymore, they can return this back, and for that time we will exchange the coverage, change batteries, and offer that for the cost-sensitive users, like ours, for example, at that time. And it's only €1 weekly. We are raising 250,000 euros for the further development of the hardware and also for the software. We are barking good, and we are giving dogs a voice and pet parents a peace of mind they deserve. Thank you.
Jury, it's your turn. Please share your questions and feedback.
I can kick off this Q&A session. I haven't quite got why you're building it right now. Why is the market? Why is the time on the market is special? Because I don't see any trigger that happened on the market in terms of trends, neither in terms of tech recently.
Most of the companies right now who are offering the tracking functionalities are moving towards the health-oriented, because longevity, as for example, like the Whoop, for example, and many other devices, we are focusing more on the proactivity than reactivity. Because most devices right now are events-based. When your dog, for example, run away, but none of them actually monitors the dog health, which is, of course, one of the most important things for every pet owner.
Got it, thank you.
Okay, what data are you collecting, and what kind of features can you prevent with your solution? And the other question is, what kind of
certification on national or international level do you need to be working on the market?
So wait, there's more questions. So as you said, there will be only Q&A for right now, and more about like the product developers, like what you have at this moment, what you already developed. Because this watchlist scene was like the prototype, or you have it already existing, and how it's like on the what kind of stages right now?
Can I just first answer the first question? Yeah. So for now, the only certificate that we require is the one to have a product on the European Union and, for example, in States. That's the only one that's UE, which is on every product. The sensors that we have are monitoring the basic health stats for the dog. And that also is a part when we are collecting the data and having the deviations, for example, of the regular health. So, for example, the temperature, which is one of the first, which is a prerequisite for many illnesses. And that simple thing, I have even an example of that. The dog has a lot of temperature high, and I couldn't see it by the first sight, right? It was very hard, and then later on, it was very hard for me to like find the best way to go right now for the vet. And the second one was, can you please repeat? This
about the product, what you have for now and what like you will develop in the nearest future.
Do you have the product with you now?
No, we have the working prototype only like as a PCB design because we started 3 months ago and we developed a working application for that and only like the hardware. The coverage is made on 3D right now. It's pretty hard to put on a dock right now because it's pretty big. We want to have the iterations of the hardware so it will be smaller so every dock can also wear it.
When it will be?
Sorry?
When it will be?
If we raise the money, if we have, because hardware is very hard to iterate and also it costs a lot of money. And because of that, we require a lot of PCB and hardware designers. So I think it's like half a year.
Barking good. Time's up. Thank you. Let's move to the challenger. Ladies and gentlemen, all Sentry. You've got 3 minutes.
Rats aren't native to Europe or US. We brought them from northern China. Along with global trade come global pests. Now they are damage our food, our industry, and our health. We created the problem, and now we fix it. There is 2 billion rodent traps, and they has to be checked manually twice a month. That's $5 billion wasted in technician hours, often just to check an empty trap. It's inefficient, it's expensive, and it doesn't scale. All-Sentry isn't just a sensor. It's a full system that put any analog trap into a smart one. Now, our technician gets a real-time alert when a rat shows up. It's not a prototype, it's deployed. I have it here. We run a lot of pilots, paid pilots, with giants in our industry like Rollins Orkin and Shippers. We hold 5 patents and 12 more pending. Our IP is protected by Fortress, the firm that beat Apple. Our team, Edward, 5 years in pest control. Andrzej, CTO at Spirosoft, expert in AI and hardware. I am Marcin, engineer and co-founder at All-Sentry. I took out a personal loan to join the mission. We not sell, we rent. One-time activation fee funds production with a 30% of margin. Monthly fee, monthly subscription is almost pure profit. Now we are raising 2 million round to scale to US. Lastly, we completed an accelerator to Nevada. We are scoping to scale our sales, deliver AI-powered sensors, and own the market before others catch up. We offer patented, proven solution to our global problem. Thanks.
Jury, your thoughts on All-Sentry? And questions, of course. 2 minutes, please.
So first question, what was the biggest animal that was already catched by the bees?
In Wrocław, we have a lot of...
but the biggest?
I think it's something around 30 centimeters big.
And the real question, how many devices is already in use in the clients? How many devices is? Devices, how many?
We don't sell licenses. We rent our devices. Now we have rented around 1,000 devices to our clients, to pilots. We've got feedback. Now we are changing in our software, in our platform, a few things, and we are going.
Thank you.
No, yeah, thanks.
Okay, I have a question.
what is your competition? Like, because it
Yeah.
wasn't on the slide.
Thanks for the question. This is right here. Yeah, we have a few competitions, but none of them has retrofit sensors that we have. We provide sensors that can be used in existing infrastructure. We have also a unique business model because we have activation fee, and then they are paying us monthly subscription. Also, we have a lot of we have better distances in connectivity. We have longer battery because our battery can live up to 10 years. So, yeah.
Okay. What is your profit per device? So you are renting the devices, and how much you are
Yeah, so profit from devices 30% at start, and then from monthly subscription is almost pure profit. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, both O Sentry and Barking Good, please come to the center of the stage. All right. So I need some knowledge right now.
Coming.
Yes. Jury is still debating. All right. I already know that. Fighters, you ready? You ready? Ladies and gentlemen, and your winner is O Sentry. All right, so O Sentry, see you in round 2, right? And right now, let me introduce to the stage heroes of the second battle. Next match, Outline AI versus Nano Psi. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Outline AI. And now, ladies and gentlemen, representing Nano Psi, he is the one and only Disco Devil. All right. So, all right, we starting with Outline AI. It started now. Are you ready? 3 minutes. Born ready. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. I would like to show you how we are changing the world of the real estate and its business. To start with such a plans, multi-million-dollar investments are dependent on. We create them 30 times faster than they are created right now. For the time being, the process looks like this. With the land acquisition team evaluating land, need to reach out to the architect, and within just a couple of days, if they are lucky, or even a couple of weeks, they will get the first up to 3 iterations of each project. With us, it is far much faster. We are cutting time as much as possible. By the way, we are delivering up to 12% more of the GLA. The thing is that we made the app as easy as possible. You need only to take 3 steps to enjoy the hundreds of designs. Sorry, it's not correct one. With our engine, you will have 7 designs per second. That translates to that you will know all the possibilities, and you will have all the answers with all the numbers that are crucial for the investment. All of that was thanks to our team. As you can see, we are not only 3 co-founders, we are growing, and we are growing fast. We are exploring other niches as well. We are not only focusing on the industrial in real estate, but we are looking for different activities as well. For example, we are working with Ferrovial and other major construction companies in Europe. That translates into the recognition, and what's more important, that translated into the patent. Our technology is protected right now, so it shows you that our approach is quite different. So, thank you very much.
All right, now jury's questions. 2 minutes, please.
I have the question regarding the input. You said that it's only 3 easy steps, but I guess you all also have to know about the equipment and also provide information about the space you need per each area. How do you define it?
There are more than 80 inputs within our app, so basically you can just put everything in there. In the future, hopefully, when we will have the access to the data and the data will look all the same in, for example, Poland, we will be able to deliver it on map. For the time being, you just go to the map, you just click on the plot you are interested in, because we are fully connected with the GIS provider. And later on, you can draw all the limitations and input all the standards you are building according to.
How do you deal with constraints that are connected with the real estate? I mean, like minimum distance from the neighbor, or the percentage of the plant that you can build?
These are all the inputs that are fully customizable for our clients. So basically, there is no need for the architect to do the work, to do the heavy lifting. The guys from the business development teams can do it on their own, because they know all of that stuff, because they were looking for this plot, right?
Okay, so another question. So you're writing in your presentation that you are 2 times faster than the normal process. So what does take so long?
To be honest, we are not 2 times faster, but we are more like 120 times faster, but it looks ridiculous to put it in the deck. What is taking so long for us? The thing is that we are delivering plenty of the iterations of each project. And we are looking in the background, the algorithm is looking in the background for the best possible solution. When you have a complex plot, it can take up to 1.5 hours to look for the best one. But usually within first 3 up to 5 minutes, you will get the best possible result.
Okay, as Paribas, like numbers, there was no numbers at all. What is the differences in the cost going this old way and the new way? How it works?
Beg your pardon?
The numbers.
The numbers. So basically, we are delivering 12% more GLA, and we are faster, much faster than a human architect. And this is all it takes to have some kind of recognition in the market.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and now stepping in, Nano Sai. Disco Devil, you have 3 minutes.
Where should I start? Close your eyes and take a deep breath in, and now exhale. Do you feel safe? But what if I tell you that you just inhaled instead of oxygen, mold, dust, and toxic formaldehyde? Scary, but sadly, this is the real-life situation of modern living in indoor environments. I was born in one of the most polluted cities in the world. First breath, Chernobyl, then smog. When pandemic came, I said, I'm deciding to quit this bullshit. I'm getting a team of scientists, engineers, and designers, and we're gonna invent new air purification solution, nanotechnology called photocatalysis, protected by 5 patents. But then COVID ended, everybody was about electricity bills and inflation. So, eureka! Current solutions are cleaning the already dirty air. We asked, why not stop the dirty air from entering our houses? This way, we reinvented the heat recovery recuperation device. Now, this wall-mounted system just breathes in, breathes out. It's in your wall, it protects you, it cuts your energy bills by 30%, and no ozone, no dust, no open windows. And in the winter, you don't need to freeze your ass off to ventilate your house because you save the energy. This system is also good for developers because they are now need to adhere to stricter European regulations consulting energy efficiency of the buildings. We deliver them simple, easy to install product that makes the building more energy efficient. And we, as a hardware startup, we can generate recurring revenue because each new building is new investment for us. And Poland is a great market to start. We have 2,000 new apartments built every year. And we just finished the first pilot in the apartment in Kraków with Skanska, and now they decided to roll out this investment in their first project in Warsaw. Thanks to the distribution deal with the local leader of IoT solutions to real estate developers, S-Labs, we suppose we're gonna protect more than 3,000 families by AirChanger in the next 2 years. Guys, I promise you, I have a team led by the professor from University of Gdańsk. I've got the expertise, I've got the science, and I've got the traction to make the clean air less costly for our lungs, for our wallets, and for our environment. Because guys, if we just cannot breathe, what does it matter how many rats you catch, how happy is your dog, or how smart is AI to design your goddamn kitchen?
All right, Joey, your turn for questions.
So I can start, the brave one. So the question is, on the personal level, I understand the problem on the market level, but on a personal level, what is the moment where a person decides to start using this device?
You either buy a new apartment that is already installed there, or you are a single home owner and you decide to install it to protect yourself, your children from the contaminated air from the outside and save on energy bills.
All right, so there should be a person that is very aware of the air pollution and it wants to have this clean air in their house. So it's like more like mental decision.
Mental decision to protect your safety and your environment. You live in the city, but you live the air as you were living in the forest. Who wouldn't like it? And no maintenance at all.
Got it, thank you.
I do really like the attitude. Thanks for the show. What is the cost of your solution like for the homeowner?
Okay, one device costs €450. We have 70% gross margin on that. So if you decide to install it with all the set of IoT sensors like air quality, CO2, you pay around €3,000 for a house, which is like 50% smaller than the central ventilation recuperation. For the family, like an apartment, it would be around €2,000. One apartment.
And then a subscription, or that's the total cost?
We don't need subscription. Our investors preferably like it, but this is really low maintenance. We can sell additional filters and add, for example, software layer to manage it by mobile app as IoT. But actually, this is really low maintenance system, and it's not necessary. It's optional.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, my question is, how many of these devices can you make per month, per year? Because you are approaching big businesses. So how fast can you produce it?
Okay, right now we do it like a pilot garage way, like 20 devices per month. But now we have secured a production development deal with the biggest ventilation, one of the biggest ventilation companies in Europe, Blauberg, and they're gonna produce it for us in whatever number we would need.
Okay, thank you.
And the competitors at the market that are already?
There are some companies doing decentralized ventilation, but none of them has the air purification option. We have it secured by a patent, so we are upgrading the whole product lines.
Okay.
And we are cheaper than them, even though they don't have the technology of us. So it's really great price advantage as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, far too kind.
Stay here, brother. Stay here, brother. Stay here. And get ready for the verdict, right? Fighters, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, you ready? Let's do this. I already got the knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner, your winner, Nano Sai. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, amazing Disco Devil. Congrats. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the round number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Let me introduce to you Floatly. And his opponent, let us welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Pick Me. All right, so let's start with Floatly. You got 3 minutes.
Good evening, Wrocław. You think my biggest opponent is Pick Me? It's not. It's the admin monster. Any entrepreneurs, founders here in the room? So probably you know you have a full calendar, lots of stuff. And very often you're not focusing on your business, on your product, on your services. Instead, you're doing admin work. And that's taking you 6 hours per week. Why? Because you have one tool per task. You're jumping from one task to another one. And that's consuming a lot of time. It's not efficient. And we want to give you 6 hours back every week. Now, let me explain you why you should not pick me, but pick Floatly. It's because we have an all-in-one hub for your finance and operations. We have a system that is open. You own the data. Nothing is, you're not vendor locked. Data goes in, out. We have integrations with all Polish banks. And we have ready modules for the popular no-code platforms, which means your AI agents will also be able to interact with Floatly. One quick case, because there are many and I cannot talk about all of them. For example, your team tracks time. Floatly sends the invoice, monitors when it's paid. Your accountant will see the data live, and you focus on monitoring profitability of your client, of your employee, or of a given project. We have a team with Kasia who sold millions of games around the world. Marek, who was already coding at the very beginnings of Znane Lekarz, Andrzej, who is in charge of compliance of many different banks, was in charge and is in charge of compliance. And I implemented ERPs in different corporations. We have more than 200 paid active users. The market in Poland is big. The European market is even bigger. Our competition is not always open. Sometimes it's doing one task, sometimes it's doing it's closed. We're raising 500,000 euros to address the market, build operations and marketing. And yes, let's kill the monster together. Don't pick me, pick Floatly. Thank you.
Time for the jury questions.
So how do you want to scale your company? Because there's always quite a lot of services as you, and there's the dev.
So basically, we don't want to do service. We want to build an ecosystem. We want the service to be, first of all, for the power users, they will be able to work on their own, and that works already. And for scaling, we don't want to do service directly. We will have an ecosystem of integrators, people managing the sales and service for us.
So maybe as a continuation of this question, what do you pitch to your customers? What is the USP that you're presenting to them?
So basically, it's improving direct day-to-day operations and gain control, because right now you get very often you get your cash flow information 1 month too late. Yes, live data, grow your business, get more knowledge, because we are also trying to help our customers get more education.
Do you have current clients, right?
Correct.
Okay, so what is the customer retention? What is your churn rate? Do you have any churn rate?
We have zero churn rate because we have very few customers. We have 3 customers right now. And yeah, once you are with our product, because we are competitive, we don't expect high churn rate, because we are an all-in-one solution.
The system has already all of this full functionality, as you have on the presentation?
Correct.
If I log in to test it tomorrow, it will work?
Correct.
I am an accountant.
And that's the kind of partnerships we're looking for. So please scan Kasia's QR code. And we are already talking with accountants, because we want to either compete or also connect with Saldeo. Not everyone likes it. So it should be a very good tool for accountants to have less calls with them, because no one wants to, spend too much time with you on the phone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Floatly. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for the challenger. Pick me. Your turn. 3 minutes.
Okay, think of it. How much time do you waste texting someone on a dating app only to realize that in real life we meet a completely different person? Dating apps are a waste of time. Why? Because they are designed to swipe, not to meet. We don't even know the face of the other person. We don't know the energy the other person has. And on the internet, it's so easy to create a different personality. Did you know that 70% of dating app users are men? This is why women have so many options, and this is why men are ghosted so often. Men and women, they have different goals. Very often they kill their relationships even before first meeting, while on the meeting it could turn out that they could be love of their lives. And photos, very often. Bad, old, taken from the best possible angles, filtered, happening very, very often on the meetings, meeting different person. My name is Piotr and today I will tell you about Pick Me, an application where the first step is offline, not online, a complete revolution in meeting new friends. In Pick Me, you just go out, you set the preferences for the people you want to get paired with. You get paired with someone who's nearby, located nearby you, and you get a simple task together to complete, to break the ice. And if you complete this, you get a prize together to use, like a discount for a local gastronomy point, so that you can continue your friendship, of course, if you want to. Look at the screens, the map of users, your pair, the photography task, list of your friends, and the discount coupon. How do we take care of density of users? We create Pick Me hotspots in city centers during festivals or events that gather hundreds or thousands of users at the same time. You just sign up to a specific hotspot and appear at a specific time, and you get paired with hundreds of other users during one evening. There's a big interest from media about Pick Me. We've got also competition. The biggest one is Tinder, but in Pick Me, we save your time. You see the face of the other person. There's no ghosting in Pick Me. There's no swipe mechanics. And not only is Pick Me for the romantic relationships, but also for friends. Pick Me is for free, but you can buy a subscription model. We also collaborate with local partners like clubs or pubs that we send our users to. We also collaborate with big partners like event organizers like Męskie Granie. Right now, we are creating Pick Me hotspots in all biggest Polish cities every Saturday with average 1,000 of users per hotspot. We've got monthly repeatable revenue. We've got 40,000 of users with 50-50 ratio for women and men collected in last 5 months. We've just finished pre-seed round, and now we start to talks for the seed round. And we've got a complete and decent and experienced team to make Pick Me succeed. Thank you very much, and feel free to ask me questions.
I can probably start with the question. What is an average time spent on your app? Do you have those numbers?
I've got the numbers that we create Pick Me hotspots, and we know that 60% of the users that come to the hotspots come to another event, another hotspot, which is next week.
Okay, and for how long those people are active on your app? Like in months or I don't know.
So the app is available since the beginning of the year. In Gdańsk, where we started, we've created a dozen of hotspots, and we know that around 60% of them come to another hotspot, and we know that active users in the application, it's like also 60%.
Okay.
60-60.
You have a question?
I can go for it if you wish.
Okay, numbers guy here, but do you have like a customer acquisition cost? Because I believe that might be a kind of a bottleneck here.
Yes, so last 3 months, there's big acquisitions of users since we started the marketing campaign. The first 3 months from the beginning of this year, there were like around 10,000 of users. And after these 3 months, from March to June, right now, we've got another 30,000 of users, gathering like around 50,000 of them just last month.
Okay, 2 questions more. Like, how are you gonna automate like creating the Pick Me places around the Poland? Because from this, what I get, you started in Gdańsk and like trying to approach new cities. And the second one is safety of the people who are attending of the events. How you have control about it?
Okay, so the hotspots are absolutely remotely designed. Like, we don't need people to be in the right place, in the right city. We just create an area on the application, and the people from the certain city, they know what to do. They know where to go. It's all on the application. It's
do they have to like download the app before that? Like, they were gonna see that the place has been created, or you're gonna just let them know?
They can download the app being just on the area. They don't have to do it earlier. Thank you.
All right. So thank you. Let's settle the score. Flowly and Pick Me to the center, please. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. And your winner is Pick Me. Congrats. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and now it's the time for the final battle. I just want to ask one thing. Maybe you're bored already. It's so quiet in here. Are you ready? Yeah. I don't hear you. Are you ready? Yeah. Much better now. All right. All right. So let's go with our 3 top startups. This round is fast and final. So each will have 2 minutes to respond to the jury's main concern from the round 1. And we'll make the closing argument after and why you should win. So good luck for every single one. Starting with Old Century. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome again Old Century.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, my first question would be: it seems like kind of operational heavy to install all those things.
All right, right.
Can you elaborate? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, we are just sending devices to the company, to the pest control company, and they are just installing those devices via tape and start them by NFC, by phone. So it's easy, and it took around 2 or 3 minutes to set up one device.
I can see that the market volume is quite big, but how do you see this pain point per each customer? How many devices do you sell per customer?
Yeah, so there's big and small companies and medium. So every medium company can buy or can rent hundreds of thousands devices, because there's a lot of traps. Even around this building is around hundreds of devices of traps.
So like follow-up questions, like what kind of the companies are your target customers? So like the biggest one.
So we are targeting especially pest control companies, and then we will go to B2C market. Now it's something like B2B2B, because they are providing services to other companies, and yeah.
And how much time do you need to produce like the things which you are like delivering to the companies? How much like the time you need from getting like a purchase and then to deliver to the company?
We are ready to deliver around 100,000 devices in 1 month.
Okay, the last question: what kind of technology are you using to be always online? I mean,
LoRa. It's upgraded Wi-Fi. And then we can have distances like 100 and 500, 1,500 meters.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Old Century. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome again the one and only Disco Devil from the Nanosci.
Yeah. What's up?
Okay, so I will start. Right now I have all this air pollution filters in my house, like Dyson, like Xiaomi, etc. So what is your biggest advantage against them?
Okay, so you have a lone standing purifier like this.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Do you have them in every room?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, you are one of the very few people who use it. Do you remember to change filters?
So devices remind me to do that.
How often do you change them?
I don't know, reminders. I have reminders in the device.
In order to properly for them to function, you should change them every 3 or 6 months and pay 200 zlotys for them, for each one. 99% of people don't do it. They forget about it. It's too bulky. It's loud. It's energy consuming, and remembers about the maintenance. And it cleans the dirty air. You invite all that dust, all that smog inside, and it tries to make it less toxic for you. We don't let that dirty air inside the house at all.
That's the main advantage, and it's no maintenance.
So how do you prevent to count all the smoke out of with the open window?
You are not opening the window. You can forget about it. Of course you can do it, but it's not necessary. You install it into the wall, and it's like a lung of the wall. It takes a breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, we purify the air, and the air gets heated in the winter because of the ceramic material inside. So you always have the similar temperature inside. You are not freezing your house when you are opening the window. You know why we are depressed in Poland in the winter? Because we are not opening the windows. We feel this zaduch, yeah? And that's why we are very apathetic. We have this jittery because we don't open the windows because we don't want to inhale that's toxic. We don't want the street noise and so on. Thanks to this, you have constant access to the fresh oxygen. You are getting out of the CO2 and you feel really fresh. That's a really game changer.
Okay, so do you really think that because Polish people are not opening the windows during the winter, that's why you are so pessimistic? Yeah, so that's the problem.
One of the perspectives, yeah.
Yeah, right. That is just like expansion for another markets. What is your target at least? Because you started from Poland, and I guess Poland is good market, but it's not the best one.
I live for half of the year in Asia. I was just talking to a friend from India. You know that in India and in Bangkok they have lockdowns because of the bad air pollution. You cannot leave the house. It's a really big problem worldwide, all over. We are fighting with the smog from the low dust. They are fighting from the smog from the volatile organic compounds, NOx, SOx, and from the heat. We have the problem with the cold, they have problem with the heat. We can handle it worldwide.
All right, thank you, Nano Sai.
Thank you very much.
And right now, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome again, Pick Me.
Hey, I have the question about the GTM. I understand you started from Gdańsk. What is your process of entering new cities and also new countries in the future?
Okay, so first of all, cities. We got honorary patronages of all biggest Polish cities, like Warszawa, Kraków, patronage from Rafał Trzaskowski. They're helping us to promote our application and our Pick Me hotspots in all those cities. And we are making it completely remotely, doing marketing on the social media. And it's working completely. Another countries that we want to start from the very east of the Europe, like Spain as the first country. We are already making tests in Spain, in Tenerife. This market is also honestly better than the Polish one, since the weather is much better and the people are much more open. Unfortunately, here in Poland, people are quite shy. So the more open the market is the better for Pick Me.
So like in Spain, your competition is pineapple? All right, there was like a viral history
I know,
in Spain.
it's the meet cute trend. Yes, I know.
Okay, I have a question about how is your startup defensible? What is defensibility of the startup? Someone can copy you in an instant. How do you prevent that, or are you prevent that at all? Do you prevent it at all?
So definitely know-how and the fact that our application work with people. It's not like that you create an application and you can test this in your room in 4 walls and doing it day and night. You have to talk with people. You have to test everything. You have to make a lot of service. You have to know who your customers are. We are all doing this and we have know-how. We've been doing it for a quite long time, like 2.5 years. This has been the time that we've been creating Pick Me. Right now, we've got all the know-how what to do this, and we know we're collecting this know-how how to do big blitzkrieg on the Europe Eastern countries.
Do we have time for one more question? Yeah, but this outcome of your know-how is visible to everyone. So even your knowledge about how to grow it and all that stuff, it's I wouldn't say is replicable, but my biggest question is on the other side of the pond, in the US.
The thing is,
what is
the thing is that we know how to do this. We've got the money to do this, And we have to do this in a short time. And we've got the know-how how to make this one big step.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, huge applause to all our finalists. It's not easy to pitch in front of a crowd, but that's the startup life, right? You build, you pitch, you repeat. And that's how we finish tonight's pitch-in. Ladies and gentlemen, now our jury will go to our secret spot to discuss the final results. And let's make a round of applause for jury as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we going further. Time to slow it down just a bit, but don't relax too much, because this next part is packed with value. We're moving into a fireside chat, a more personal, real talk conversation. No slides, no timers, just one founder, one story, and a whole lot of lesson. If you ever wondered what it really looks like to build something with purpose and stay human while doing it, this one's for you. It's my job, right? I'm the voice in here. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome founder and CEO of LifeKid, Mr. Jakub Pawelski. And asking smart questions, ladies and gentlemen, from Startup Wrocław, Maciej Jacenik.
Waldemar, thank you for brilliant introduction, because I never imagined that I will be in this spot and not fight. So,
Next time in KSW.
Oh, thank you. So, Paweł, instead of staying in the corner, you step in to the ring, and one of the toughest opponent, administrative house in the early education. So, I imagine that was hard, and at 17 years old, you're inspired by your mother, and you start building LifeKid because of her problems in the job, basically. So can you elaborate a little bit? How was the first days and first initial reaction to her problem, and what was the spark that began the project?
So it's quite classic garage story. I was just back then a software engineer. I was working on B2B iOS app for one of the US startups. If you ever visited Madison Square Garden, there are like kiosks you can buy hot dogs on. So that's something I was working on as a developer. But I really wanted to, create some project on my own, product, be a bit more than just software engineer, be a designer, project manager, to kind of create something fully from scratch based on my idea how things should look like. And I just was looking for, okay, what app I can build so it will be really used by the people. And I was 17, so I was living with my parents back then. My mom was constantly complaining about how difficult is her job, how time-consuming it is to handle all of the communication with parents in the nursery or kindergarten, how complicated it is to manage all of the logistics like food ordering, bill calculation, collecting payments, and that kind of stuff. And I just created an app to simplify those main processes, and that's an easy part. So I would say to create product that you think it's useful is the easy part of building companies. The hard, because everything looks great at this stage. You have great ideas, you have great designs, you have a lot of plans of international expansion and so on. But the hardest thing is how you actually convince other people at scale to buy it from you, ideally for some decent money, right? So how you actually acquire your customers. And that was the hardest part, especially for me because I was engineer. So, quite introvert guy. I was not...
I believe not anymore.
It's right now, like, part of my job description is to talk or convince some people to do things I want, like hire them so they join my company or they give me money for our company, like investors or competitors to sell their company to our company. So talking is part of my job. It doesn't mean that I'm extrovert. I will like quickly, like 10 minutes after we talk, I will be like out of
Looks
it.
like you are
Yeah,
an
but
extrovert.
getting back to early days, so the hardest part was actually selling, and we are product business, so everything we do or everything we charge our customers for, it's product. But I would say we are more in a business of changing people behaviors, and we are in a digitalization of education kind of an industry. So our biggest challenge is to digitalize the daycare. So you enter the daycare that parents used to call daycares or message on WhatsApp or Messenger or send emails or talk to the teacher in a changing room. Teachers write some stuff on paper, directors do other stuff on paper, and sure, we give the product, but the hardest part is to convince them to change their behaviors to go fully digital. And that's quite hard.
So how you did it? So you convinced all the mothers of your friends?
No, actually. I had a great co-founder back then. So I found a company with Mateusz Kulesza. He was marvelous salesperson, like really a great one that can convince you to buy sand on the desert. So he was initially in charge of all of the customer-related activities, and he was great at it. But it's mostly about listening. What are the people pain points? I would strongly advise. I was told that there's plenty of people that either wants to start a company or start a company and they are still in the early days. So I would slightly or highly encourage to focus on real pain points rather than nice to have ideas. Like world doesn't need another app to, I don't know, find great clothing for your dog or whatever. Like it's kind of a nice to have idea. It would be nice to have marketplace with clothing for dogs, but it's not a must have, right? Nobody's really hurt or like nobody is really annoyed or feeling really bad that they have to go to different websites to find clothing for the dog. But there are plenty of annoying things, and those annoying things are the easiest to build great business on top of. So like nobody really likes paperwork, like boring administration or communication with 60 people in different channels. Like imagine being, teacher, like you have 60 kids, or like director, you have 60 kids, 60 parents, some of them are divorced. Terrible story.
House.
So focus on things that really hurt people or that they really feel real pain, and build product to either eliminate that pain or at least lower intensity. And people will be willing to pay for that.
So you're a doctor for pain, at least in the edutech.
Let's say that, yeah.
So I spoke with like few people and every single one told me the same. That's the game changer in the communication, because that's the...
You mean our users?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and always they told me that they use it because it's clear, to the point, and they have one channel, and one channel only with like really good information, not like noisy secondary information because of someone told someone something. So how, maybe just start from the like early days, how you build a team, because most likely there's a bunch of people sitting there that thinks about a different product, maybe with the pet care, maybe with like marketplace, but they always ask me how to start, where to find your co-owner or your first investor or your first few people to the team. So you mentioned that you have like brilliant sales co-founder. How you met him?
He was my classmate in high school. So, and I didn't have any network in startup community, business community, nothing like that. So honestly speaking, like first 5 employees were just random guys from my class. So like if you can build like, you know, 100 million zloty company out of 5 random guys from your class in high school, like really you don't need that much to start. You just need people that will trust you and put a lot of effort, a lot of hard work to make it happen. And I would say that's the only thing you really need. So just recruit people from your surroundings that are willing to trust you and willing to put the effort. Because in the early days, what really matters, it's speed of iterations, like how fast you learn, how fast you take feedback from your customers into your product or sales or go-to-market strategy. And I would say that you can teach everything. Like if it's fairly open-minded person, and most of the young people are quite open-minded, you can teach them almost anything, but I never succeeded convincing somebody that doesn't want to work hard. So I would say I would look just for this one quality, just motivation to I don't know, have some impact or do amazing stuff. So I would just focus on the motivation. That's the only thing you cannot really teach. You can motivate some guys, but I think it's misallocation of your time. There are plenty of better things to focus on rather than motivating unmotivated people. So just grab 5 random guys from your surroundings that are smart, that are feeling the vision and trusting you on that, and that's it. No big, amazing employees needed.
Okay, so LifeKit, it was a like classic bootstrap story from the beginning. So what and when that's changed from your perspective back then? So what changed from the bootstrap history to involved with like several top-notch Polish VC found?
So the biggest reason I think it's that we wanted, or me, because Mateusz is no longer running a company. So by the end of the day, I think it was more like my idea that we wanted to expand international, and it's quite costly to do that. We were bootstrap, we were break even, so we were just barely making its ends meet by the end of the month. So in order to really like take the risk and try different countries, we really needed to raise some capital. So that was the primary reason for raising capital. And I also thought that was a very good moment. So we were like something around 4 million zloty in annual recurring revenue, growing still 100%. So that was just a good momentum to do that. And maybe last little reason, which might sound a bit counterintuitive, because most of the entrepreneurs you probably know value things like freedom, independence, autonomy. But I kind of, I was, 22, 23 years old back then.
How many years ago was 22, 23?
I'm 26 this year.
Yeah, to add it.
So like 4
additional
years,
context.
4
years ago.
Yeah. And I like so I was playing volleyball before running software company and before programming. And in volleyball, you always have a coach. And I kind of like that dynamic that you have a coach, somebody that you are really accountable to, and your team. And for me, the idea of having accountability, because back then it was just me. I answered to nobody. I could change my plans tomorrow and stuff. And just professionalizing our company a bit, bringing some governance, bringing some structure. Some people that I will hopefully respect and admire and want to be accountable for, that was a good idea. And I'm really happy I did it. And it cleared my mind for like a lot. My existential questions, what should I do with the company tomorrow and stuff, like disappeared. I had a plan, things to deliver, I like to deliver. So that was really good. Productive for shareholder value, let's put it that way.
Okay, so you create a plan to outsource the plan to VC.
No, not at all. Just to make sure that, okay, I created some sort of strategy, some plans, and that I will answer to somebody in 2 quarters, a year, and 2 if I delivered.
Okay. Cool. So back to the boxing terms.
Yeah.
So every fighters enter the ring with the game plan. So what's your game plan? But after the first punch land, everything has to be reassembled. So what's your plan, and what's the punch?
So I think the punch is, so when we raised that first round, our idea was that we will expand to like every possible geography with our solution and build local teams and expand to like, I don't know, 10 or 20 countries. Maybe repeat the success of companies from Poland like Dog Planner and stuff. But then reality kind of fact-checked our idea that it's extremely hard to execute vertical SaaS geographical expansion to different markets that are like really different because we have local regulations, local things and stuff. And in a lot of markets, timing really matters. So it really matters if you're the first, the second, or the 10th. And we obviously couldn't be the first in every geo. And also you have all of those little, you basically need a founder like country manager or leader in every country. Like, sure, you have the product, you know the business more or less, but still, it's like this phase from 0 to 1 requires a lot of grit, a lot of hard work. And it's just like maybe not impossible, but really hard to execute that. So we changed the plan to limit the number of markets and geos we operate in. We right now operate mostly in Poland, Spain, and Latin America, Spanish speaking, so Mexico and Colombia, Chile. Limited, or like, for example, we first entered Spain organically. So we just hired first salespeople and started operating in that market. But then we did an acquisition. And so those are the things, for example, that changed. So entering market via acquisition is sometimes much more cheaper and easier than organically, just because somebody was there first, and there are some local things that you might not understand on the first glance. And second, that it's better to be number 1 or number 2 in like 3 big geographies rather than being number 3 in 20 markets.
So that's your expansion plan, acquisition, and speaking Spanish-speaking country?
In Spain. In Mexico, there like in order to acquire a company, it needs to be quite. It needs to be big enough to make it work or like make it worthwhile for you. And there are some good targets in Spain, so we are, and in Poland, so we are super happy to. We have leading positions in both of those markets. In Poland, for example, there's 30%, so every one of the 3 parents in Poland use LifeKid.
Maybe raise your hand if you use LifeKid.
So we are okay, cool.
Something.
Hello. If you have any feedback just after, please grab me. I'm super happy to listen and iterate on that. Yeah, in Spain also, especially in Catalonia, we have most of the schools. But in Mexico, there's not so many big companies that will move the needle for us. So they're like small companies, and it's not really worthwhile to do all of the due diligence, take the risk and stuff. But yeah, acquisitions, and sometimes in different segments. So we recently, like last year, we acquired one company here actually in Wrocław that is doing software for caterings that serves education, like serves daycares, and so yeah, acquisitions are really good fast track to either get the right product, market position, or people.
So you're looking for another streams of revenue by the acquisition, different companies, not like SaaS for education.
Yeah, it really depends. Like every acquisition has their own thesis. Sometimes you buy the market position, sometimes you buy the product, sometimes you buy just revenue. But yeah, in general, like as you typically start small with, and I would strongly advise to start with niche product in one well-defined niche, and then like slowly expand to like different, like Amazon started with books online, right? And then like category by category to like everything online company, and I would say that's a quite good strategy. So always as a CEO you have couple of jobs, like make sure you don't run out of money, hire the right people. But I would say one that doesn't change and is every year is how I can materially expand total addressable market this year. So how I can, expand the market I'm operating in. Because sooner or later, especially when we start companies in Poland, I would love that you guys think more globally, like really globally, but most of you will probably start small, like in Poland, which is kind of we do it because it's easier, but then every year you need to materially expand the TAM, because otherwise you will never build a significant size company.
Cool. Before we run out of the time, 2 quick questions. What's your valuation at maybe this time or last round?
We are not publicly traded, so all of the valuations in startup worlds, I believe, are kind of a bullshit, to be honest. I mean, like, company.
Give us some bullshit.
Company is worth what, the price is the will. If there is a willing buyer that wants to pay this price, that's the price of an asset. So you can value yourself at 2 billion because you raised 50 million on that kind of evaluation, but it doesn't really make your business worth that much. So our business is definitely worth more than 100 million zloty, like real value, but whatever you can make up the numbers, because you never really know until you really will start the process, see the real cash offers, not paper valuations. Mm-hmm. So you never really know.
So we're waiting for IPO then?
No.
No?
No, not at all.
That's not the exit plan?
I mean, maybe my investors would love it, but I don't see myself being a CEO of a publicly traded company. I have better things to do in my life than answering some shareholder that owns like 2 shares and asks questions. Like, really, it's not my ambition in life. I value like my sanity, clarity of my, like, I really don't want to do that. Look at Michael from Brand24 right now fighting with guys that owns like 10% of some valuation discussion. Mm-hmm. Keeping aside if it's fair discussion, who is right. Yeah. I just don't imagine myself in that position.
Okay, so if someone pay you this 1 or 2 billion for LifeKit and you just take it, what will you do in the next day?
I will start probably a new business.
ASAP.
And not ASAP, like I will take vacations and stuff. But sooner or later, yes, that's the only thing in my life that eventually worked out. So like, I like creating things. I will start different business. So few of my learnings, and I'm happy to share that with you, as some of you probably didn't choose yet: the market, the product, the business. So my POV after running LifeKit for a few years is that you want to start infrastructure business rather than product business or things like that. So for me to acquire additional 1 million of revenue is that my sales and my go-to-market strategy needs to go to the market and grab this million revenue, which is hard work. But my customers are not growing itself. So if I want to grow 60% next year, I really need to acquire that many new acres. Sure, some of that may be compensated by upsell. So you have existing customers and you upsell some stuff to them, but it will not like make 10x difference. Meanwhile, you can have a business which is also software as a service, but which is infrastructure software. Like, think about Shopify or Stripe, or in Poland we have, I don't know, Przelewy24, AutoPay, TPay. Like, we pay to one of the, AutoPay actually is one, our core provider. We pay them like, right now I think 1.5 million zloty a year. And when we started, we were paying like 100 zloty a month. What they did to grow that revenue, fairly nothing. And definitely, they were not hustling every day. Like
They just process it.
we did it. Like my sales and marketing efforts needs to be done. And same with GCP. I spent like almost $1 million zloty a year on servers. What they did to acquire that revenue growth? Nothing. And we'll spend probably 2 million in like 5 years. And again, it's not their effort. So what you really want to do is to create product that enables others to do the dirty job. So they will do cold calling and a boring part of a business that is really hard. And you will just enjoy the tax on their success. And that's what you want to do. That's the best business model. You want to be attached to the growth of others rather than to be dependent on your own growth. Of course, it's easier to be said than done, but if I would be choosing the market or business model or product again, I would definitely focus on infrastructure. So your business and your revenue, it's tax on others people's efforts rather than your own efforts. And there are plenty of successful companies in Poland that do it. And those are the companies that have the most durable growth in long term, that they keep compounding for like 20 years. And sometimes they grow just because the market grows, right? Like in we have great success story from Poland, Shopper. And like they are on a great wave of e-commerce growing. That's kind of a business you want to build. You don't want to build business that you really every year you need to hustle so much because otherwise you will grow 0%. You want to be attached to the people that grow, and you just serve them, enable them.
That's the tip. So sum it up in one last word. What's your tip for young entrepreneurs like you?
No golden advice, to be honest. It's just much more simple than it seems, and just persistence is required. You need to trial as fast as possible, iterate super quickly, and you will for sure get further away than you think. Like when I was starting, and every like, I don't know, 2-3 years, I really don't imagine growth of another like 200% or 300%. And it just happens. Like you can really do it, however cliche it sounds. But it's just much more simple. You don't need to know everything at the beginning. Just try it out. You have nothing to lose really, and yeah. But it's kind of a cliche advice. I wouldn't say it's something super smart.
Let's sum it up with Nike adverts. Just do it. Yeah. Jakub, Pawelski, LifeKid.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, big thanks to Jakub and Maciej for that honest, down-to-earth conversation. That's the kind of stuff founders really need to hear. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a short video from our friends and partners at Ace of Space, a team that knows how to bring ideas to life, literally. So sit back, take a deep breath, and enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. The judges debated and scored it finally, maybe argue a little even. We don't know that, but I already got the results of tonight's Startup Showcase contest. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. Third place, winning 5,000 PLN, 30,000 OVH cloud credits and 2 tickets to Startup Day, goes to Nanosci. Where's the devil himself? Where's the disco devil? All right. Second place, 10,000 PLN, 50,000 OVH cloud credits and 2 tickets to How to Web goes to Pick Me. And now, ladies and gentlemen, finally, first place, 25,000 PLN, 100,000 OVH cloud credits and tickets to Web Summit and 1 to Founders Night. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and startup champion, let us welcome again, All Century. Ladies and gentlemen, huge congratulations to all the winners, and honestly, respect to every startup that stepped into the ring tonight. Pitching takes guts. Before we officially wrap up, one more big shout out to our amazing partners, especially to Bank BNP Paribas, SDZ Legal, Schindhelm, WP Square Investment, and JWW Accounting Office. Your support helped turn bold ideas into real momentum. Thank you. All right, what a ride tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, big ideas, bold founders, real energy. Like a fight night, but with pitch decks instead of gloves. But hey, we're not done yet. Now it's time to shift gears and celebrate a little, right? We're inviting all of you to stick around for some networking and after party. Talk, connect, relax. Who knows, maybe your next investor is holding a drink right now or soon. And the after party, for another hour, we are having some beers and pizza here, but then we head into club recepcja at Neon Side Gallery, Ruska 46C. That's the place to be tonight. Bring your good energy, your stories, and maybe your co-founder too. Plus, if you want to leave your mark, don't miss the My Company Polska studio right here on the floor. You can record a quick video, share your thoughts, pitch, or just say hi to the camera. Easy, fun, and definitely worth it. Thanks for being part of Evolution's Meetup and Showcase. Remember, startup is a sport, but tonight, you've earned the after party. Let's go. For all the winners, finalists, jury members, and partners, please join us on stage for a group photo. Let's capture this moment together. Come on up.
Family picture. Waldemar, please join us here. We have something for you. We have something special for you. Please come here. Something big. You have to open. Yeah. 4XL.
I've just, don't get me wrong, it's like, what I've done is like, the whole anecdote sounds like this. Wow, you look amazing. How much you've lost? And I'm saying 40 kilograms. So how much is still left? 130.
Thank you very much, Waldemar. It was splendid.